you go to Nautilus for middle school?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Judge Mindy Glazer of Miami-Dade Bond Court made headlines after recognizing 2 defendants in 1 month. One a former classmate, the other a fellow vacationer. Here's how those moments unfolded and the impact they had in court. Arthur Booth, a 49-year-old man with a long criminal history, found himself back in the courtroom facing charges of burglary, grand theft, fleeing from authorities, and resisting arrest. His criminal record, which dates back to his initial 2006 conviction for aggravated robbery, was not Booth's only story, though. When he appeared before Judge Mindy Glazer, his past as a well-behaved middle school student came rushing back.
I have a few announcements. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent all defendants unless you tell me you have money to pay for a private lawyer or if you are hiring a private lawyer and one is here. Also, please let me know if you have served in the United States military or any of the reserves.
The court proceedings began normally with Judge Glazer making announcements in a bond hearing. She quickly got through multiple defendants until it was Booth's turn.
Hi, Mr. Booth. How are you?
How you doing, ma'am? Okay, ma'am.
Judge Glazer started off by reading the list of crimes committed by Arthur. Then she moved on to explaining the terms of his bond. In a surprising and emotional moment, Judge Glazer recognized Booth as a former classmate from Nautilus Middle School.
Okay, Mr. Booth, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to Nautilus for middle school?
Oh my goodness.
As she gazed at him, she reflected on the bright and promising kid he had once been, contrasting that memory with the man now in front of her, facing serious charges. The unexpected reunion left both the judge and Booth visibly moved.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry to see you there. I always wondered what happened to you, sir.
Oh my goodness.
This is the nicest kid in middle school.
Oh my goodness.
She recalled Booth as the nicest kid, and one who used to play football and socialize with his classmates.
He was the best kid in middle school. I used to play football with him and all the kids, and look what has happened. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
Booth's expression revealed a mixture of regret and disbelief. The recognition was an emotional moment, reminding him of how far he had strayed from the path he once seemed destined to follow. His situation was no longer that of a hopeful teenager, but rather a man who had battled drug addiction, gambling problems, and a descent into petty crime, ultimately leading him to prison.
The reunion somberly concludes as Glazer sets bail at $43,000.
Okay. All right. Oh my goodness, you.
While there was no denying the gravity of his criminal actions, Booth's past as a promising student and his evident remorse during this courtroom encounter offered a glimpse into the person he once was and potentially could be again. Judge Glazer's heartfelt comments and emotional recognition of Booth's former self underscored the complex nature of criminal justice. Their worst actions do not simply define people. However, the harsh reality is that these past mistakes have consequences. Booth was sentenced to serve 10 months in prison, followed by a rehabilitation program, providing him with an opportunity to turn his life around. His release came after he was accepted into a court program, offering him a second chance at life and the possibility of rehabilitation.
After nearly 10 months, he caught a break, released on a court program. Glazer stood by waiting, along with his family, to greet Booth as he walked out of jail.
Judge Glazer was there to witness this momentous occasion. Along with Booth's family, she waited for him as he walked out of jail. The reunion was emotional. Booth, visibly moved, shared his gratitude and the hope for a fresh start.
Your family, try and get a job, stay clean. You're going to do something good for somebody else. That's what you
better believe it. You better believe it. She's an inspiration and motivation to me right now. She just seeing Mindy is incredible.
He expressed his determination to make better choices, saying, "I want to get a job, stay clean, and do something good for somebody else."
Because I knew where I could have been. But I'm not giving up on life. It's just a new leaf on life for me right now.
He had a good judge who wanted to give him a chance. It's a group effort to see you succeed. Don't let us down.
I won't. I promise not to.
However, that optimism was short-lived. While it seemed like a new chapter for Booth, the reality was much darker. Fast forward to a few years later, and Booth, once again standing before Judge Glazer, had squandered his second chance. This time, his crimes had escalated. He targeted elderly victims, posing as a maintenance worker to gain access to their homes and steal valuable jewelry. One of his victims, 83-year-old Ana Venezuela, had trusted him when he showed up at her door dressed as a city worker. But after he stole her cherished bracelet, Ana was left terrified and shaken, realizing that Booth had used the same deceptive tactics to rob others.
Vi miedo. Digo, ay Dios mío, este hombre me va a matar. Ya estaba en mi cuarto.
She was scared, she said. She thought he'd kill her. Before she knew it, he was telling her to turn on faucets and went straight to her bedroom and the jewelry box.
Booth's return to the courtroom wasn't met with the same hopeful tone as before. This time, Judge Glazer couldn't hide her disappointment. The once promising young man she had hoped would succeed after being released had returned to his criminal ways. During this court appearance, Booth seemed to avoid eye contact with Judge Glazer. The judge, clearly disheartened, passed the case on to another judge, leaving Booth to face the full consequences of his actions.
I can't hear your case. I'm going to get another judge to hear it, okay? So if you have a seat, somebody else will be here. Hope things work out for you better.
Ultimately, Booth was convicted once again, this time for multiple charges, including stealing from elderly victims and attempting to sell stolen jewelry. He was held without bond as he faced trial for his latest crimes. For Alan Glenn, the recognition by Judge Glazer was far more procedural, but it still made for a memorable court moment. Glenn appeared before the judge on fraud charges, and it was only after some brief exchanges that Judge Glazer realized they shared a unique bond. Both had recently been on the same Caribbean cruise. This detail, seemingly trivial, became important during the court proceedings. Glenn had been accused of defrauding individuals, and at first glance, his situation didn't seem connected to anything personal for Judge Glazer. However, as they spoke, she realized they had both traveled on the Carnival breeze, and this recognition played a role in how she viewed him.
You had a nice cruise? I'm glad to be back to work. I had to watch 4 kids.
You was on a cruise this weekend that just passed?
Yeah.
His participation on that cruise helped Judge Glazer determine that he wasn't a flight risk, which influenced her decision regarding bail. If Glenn had intended to flee the country, he had the opportunity to do so during the cruise.
Oh, you didn't see me dancing? I was the one dancing.
You were dancing. I was sitting upstairs in the shade.
While the connection may have seemed incidental, it helped the judge form a fuller picture of Glenn's behavior. It was an interesting juxtaposition. The judge, who was once a fellow vacationer with the defendant, now considering his legal fate in a courtroom.
That contest by the pool now, were you? Nah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I definitely was.
I'm sorry you have to go through this, sir.
This acknowledgement served to remind Glenn that his choices still had consequences, despite the shared experience. Ultimately, Judge Glazer set Glenn's bail and gave him the opportunity to prove his innocence. But his behavior outside the courtroom would now be scrutinized even more closely. After their hearings, both Booth and Glenn faced different fates, yet both were given a chance for rehabilitation. Both men left the courtroom with new opportunities to shape their futures.